Ooh boy. How did I end up here? Honestly, I made some pretty bad choices in life. Let me retell you my story of the rise of McFIsty as I go and challenge the dragon. On a beautiful day in the beach town, our hero of this, God, I can't get over how fucking ridiculous this character is. Anyways, thanks everybody for joining me for this video. This is a Dragon Dogma Dark Arisen fist only run. I do stretch the word fist only because for the first start of this run, you can't really fist only. not what I'm doing, because you just don't have enough damage output. But when the run starts, you'll know when. Anyways, the prophecy speaks of the return of the dragon. He shows up, starts destroying the town, and McFIsty decides to run into action. But he forgot he's allergic to steel, so, and then the dragon rips out his art and eats it. Okay, so now that the run's actually starting and the whole tutorial section's over, we're gonna have to pick our class. For the starting few levels, we're gonna be picking fighter. And then after that, we're gonna be changing vocations to assassin for maximum stat growth. But for right now, we need to complete a few starting quests in order to get to Grand Soren, which is the main hub for the game. And after that, we will be then getting geared up in order to do our fist-only run. At this very moment, the run hasn't really started, so I will be using items to help compensate getting to where I need to go. Once I get my vocation set, then it's fist-only. Since the dragon ate our heart, he declared us as arisen, which means we can't die of old age, but we can still fall in battle. But being arisen gives us some perks. We get access to the Rift, which in turn gives us pawns, who are our companions through the game. Yeah, we don't need no fucking companions. We're doing this bitch solo. Goodbye, Rook, you useless piece of shit. Upon reaching the camp, McFIsty is tasked to prove that he is the arisen by going and helping out slaying an ogre. Sorry, my bad. Cyclops. I'm going to get these guys mixed up a lot. Get used to it. This is also what I mean by right now the run hasn't really started. It would take me like an hour and a half to kill this guy with my fist only, because we're only doing like maybe 1 or 2 points of damage. So instead, you got to get creative and use gravity to kill him. I will give props that one thing I love about the Dragon Dogma games, and to an extent, I haven't been fully familiarized with Dragon's Dogma 2, is the creating of your characters. I like the pawn system. You can make whatever you want, and here I'm making a beautiful piece of artwork. But since this is a solo run, upon waking up the next day, the encampment is being attacked by a Hydra. Hip hip hooray! I gotta use some explosives in order to even deal any damage to this guy, because unlike the ogre, Cyclops, sorry, we were just fighting, we literally can't do any damage to this guy. Our damage is just so low that there's nothing there. So a couple explosions and a couple of throw blasts. Throw blasts are gonna be my main item to get me through the first portion of this game in order to actually start the run. Hip hip hooray! We are tasked with the most annoying mission in the game. We gotta help Mercedes and her crew pull the wagon through the canyon with toting the Hydra head, because she wants to present it to the Duke, who is potentially also an arisen too, but we don't know that yet. So we decided to help her, and this was a grueling task. I'm just gonna show you guys the highlights. One thing I learned, that everybody who's defending this caravan can die, including Mercedes, but since she's story relevant, she does get to respawn, and it kind of spooked me because she respawns on this little platform, but then she's literally just fucking stuck up there and can't get down. Yeah, that's something, because I was like, oh my god, why is Mercedes talking? And turns out she's just right up there. I don't know if her pathfinding just breaks or something and she just can't get down or whatever, but she's up there for the rest of this mission. And the rest of this mission is a slog because I have no healing. I can't do enough damage to kill these goblins. But I found out that even when the ox on the cart goes down, he gets like a few seconds of invulnerability, so he does make progression. And he slowly makes his way to Grand Soren. Also, it turns out bandits just completely ignore the ox, so that's pretty cool. Oh boy, finally in Grand Soren, we say goodbye. We say goodbye to Mercedes. We go and grab a couple more level ups to get to level 10, and then we switch to the warrior. Sorry, not warrior class yet. The assassin's class. Why the assassin class? Because it has the best strength growth in the game. Doesn't have the best stamina or defense or health growth, but it's literally just the attack. I think every level up gives us 5 strength up to level 100. Then after that, it's 3 strength. So up to level 100, I think it's the best, and then we switch over to warrior for like better health or health and stamina growth. All right, now it's time to get geared up. All right, to get geared up for this actual run, we need to get some items. First, we load up on Throw Blast. They're going to carry us in order to get the items we need to actually do this. This would be a lot easier if I could just like do the online service for this game, but for some reason for the PC, it's down. It's down. Whatever. Anyways, there is a workaround. There's a quest reward that we can do that gives us the item we need. It won't be that hard, and we can get some level ups along the way. Sleeping at the inn till nighttime, we can now get access to the Bitter Black Isle, which is the area, the DLC expansion for this area for the Dark Arisen. There is a quest here we need to get that gives us a reward called the Bloody Knuckle Ring. It doubles our fist damage, and we need it. So until then, we're gonna be throw blasting every enemy we see because this dungeon is actually meant for like high level in-game characters, and our damage is pitiful. I'm gonna apologize. My son's been fucking giggling his ass off in the background, so he's been getting caught in the recording. So we make our way into Bitter Black Isle. We do this thing called the barrel glitch, but due to the size of McFIsty, his hitbox is so small he can't get inside of the fucking doors. It's hilarious. I had to find an alternative way of glitching in through these doors. It's just to get some really good loot a lot earlier. Inside of this treasure chest is the Ring of Perseverance. It just doubles the discipline you gain, which helps in turns level up your class faster. Alright, so in order to get the Bloody Knuckle Ring, we need to upgrade an item in Dragonfire. So we need to make an item Dragonforged. How do we do that? We kill a worm, drake, or a wyvern, or the main boss of the game, the dragon, or another dragon called the Euro Dragon. Two of those options are out of how to reach for us, but the first 3 are not. The chances of getting something forged in Dragonfire is like 4%, but turns out that I was doing this all wrong. I spent a good 3.5 hours fighting this fucking drake that spawns here. Turns out though, the wyverns, dragons, and whatever, the draconic enemies you can encounter here in Grand Soren, they cannot upgrade your stuff unless it's already upgraded. And since none of my stuff was upgraded because I'm a broke little bastard, and cheap, I don't feel like upgrading my stuff, it never happened. So 3 hours of my life wasted. But you want to know what will upgrade my stuff without Dragonforge my stuff without having it upgraded? The dragon enemies you can encounter in Bitter Black Isle. The drake, dire worm, and dire wyvern have a higher chance, and they can do it without having an upgrade. But there's also a boss dragon in the Bitter Black Isle who has a 20% chance straight out of the gate of upgrading your stuff. So using Throw Blasts, I gotta make my way through Bitter Black Isle. Trust me, it'll be fun. And the only thing standing between me and getting my Dragon Forged equipment is the first boss of Bitter Black Isle, the Beholder, or the Evil Eye, whatever you want to call him. He's a very straightforward boss. he does a lot of magic spam, just dodges magic. Our main goal is to get underneath him, kill off some of the tentacles until he starts spawning tentacles that shoot straight upwards. Those will knock him down, revealing his weak spot, and then we just throw blast him to death. In hindsight, I think I could have just used a cheat engine to spawn in 2 Bloody Knuckle rings in order to actually like start this run from the very beginning of the game. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go through the struggle of getting this run set up. Don't worry, we will be restarting the game once I get my Bloody Knuckle ring from the start. The only thing is we'll be keeping our gear and we'll be keeping our level, but everything will start over from the beginning. Alrighty, making our way deeper into Bitter Black Isle, and my character might look a little different. That's because I wanted to change my vocation from Assassin to Warrior for the increased carry weight. We make our way to the second boss of Bitter Black Isle, the Dark Bishop and the Undead Dragon. This is a tag team fight. It's actually very difficult, but Throw Blast trivialize it. Alright, so we want to get rid of the Undead Dragon first. He won't stay dead for long. The Dark Bishop will revive him after a bit, but when the the Undead Dragon is gone, the Bishop's literally just a sitting duck. Couple throw blasts, and game, set, in. Oh, done. And with the death of the Dark Bishop and the defeat of the Undead Dragon, we had a couple of gear get Dragon Forged. Sweet. So now we just gotta go turn in the quest and get our Bloody Knuckle Ring. Okay, I actually forgot. It's upgrading beyond Dragon Forged. So I need to do a little bit of item grinding. Luna Rise will be the easiest thing to get because they spawn in the second area of Bitter Black Isle, and we'll be done.
One look now, will you have a look? Now we no die.
I find it funny that I went through all the hassle of the farm, the Luna Rise, by grabbing the 3, leaving, waiting a week, then coming back. Just turns out I had enough molted leather in my inventory to upgrade a different armor. Anyways, we got the Bloody Knuckle Ring. Now it's time to do the scariest decision of all, restarting our playthrough from the beginning with our Bloody Knuckle Ring. Let's do this. Having a very bad case of deja vu, we run into the dragon again, who once again eats our heart, but this time he says, "Now you guys gotta fist your way to me." Okay, I'm just joking. But yeah, no, we're restarting our playthrough on hard mode. Everything is reset. And we're going to be doing this fist only from here out. Yeah, I know. It took a hot minute to get the run going, but I'm having fun.
As you will.
We dispose of Rook because we don't need him. We kill the Ogre with a good punch. We get rid of our pawn. And we punch the Hydra to death. The Hydra screams at me like my kids don't like doing the dishes. And we once again agree to meeting Mercedes and helping her cross the canyon. Luckily, this time it goes a lot smoother. For some strange reason, McFIsty decides to get naked besides for just keeping a jester cap on. Does it help? No, it just fucking made the situation a lot worse because these enemies are on hard mode and they can practically one-shot me, if not almost kill me. Again, say goodbye to Mercedes. Get jump scared by a guy, and we decide to throw on an armor set. This is a DLC armor set. It doesn't provide nothing crazy. It just looks pretty cool. Even though we are the Arisen, the Duke of Grandsoren doesn't believe us. So we gotta join the Wyvern Hunt, the Dragon Hunt, whatever you want to call it, the Worm Hunt. We gotta do a couple of side missions in order to progress the game. We decided to go investigate a cult. A quick little detour to give our local lizardmen a couple of backshots. Backshotting. Funny word. Literally running half a fucking continent worth of distance, we make it to the meeting site. We just need to run through the catacombs, and we learn a dark, dark secret. I, after switching from warrior back to assassin, forgot to equip my bloody knuckle rings. I was wondering why I wasn't doing any fucking damage this entire dungeon. And these zombies were taking forever to die. So I re-equip my bloody knuckle ring, and I go to town. I also forgot to put in the part where I got a second copy. All I did was just redo what I did on my to set it up. I just went back and re-killed the undead dragon and the dark bishop to get a second bloody knuckle ring and upgrade my dragon forge stuff. So now I'm doing quadruple fist damage. We put one of the cult leaders down like a dog, and we move on to the next mission. We give our local lizard men a couple of more good, stronger back shots. We stumble across a carriage that needs help, so we decide to give the goblin some fistings until we get ambushed by an oversized bird, aka the griffin. My damage is still pretty good for this point in the game, even though it's on hard mode and I am doing quad fist damage. So after this little skirmish, this isn't part of the mission, and taking care of the actual mission I need to be doing, I decided to do some grinding. Alright, mission completed. It wasn't that hard. I did die a couple of times. It's just you go in here, you kill a couple of cyclopses, and you kill some goblins, and easy peasy. Alright, let's do some grinding. Bitter Black Isle we go! Alright, after a long training montage in Bitter Black Isle of fighting the first and second boss over and over with double XP, there's an item you can get that can double your XP. We managed the power level quite a bit. I think I'm good to go. Let's finish the game. Before we can actually get to the end of the game, the Duke has tasked us with a couple of more things we need to take care of. We need to go retrieve his ring, who has been taken by a guy named Salamant, or Salamont. I don't know. We're going to go fist him. On our way back, we decide to beat up a cockatrice. Cockatrice, get it? Be careful, these things can one-shot you. They petrify you, and then you just instantly die. It wasn't that hard of a fight. We get the chat up with the Duke, which is pretty cool. I don't like him, though, because he's a mean butt. One of our last final tasks before we go take on the dragon is fisting our way through the Shadow Fort. There's tons of people in here who need to take our fists, and we gotta punch them. I found a really cool tactic to get around fighters. You just jump, do a 180, and then you immediately punch. Their shields can't block it. It's hilarious. I love it. I'm gonna be using it from now on. I fist this random chimera that's inside the Shadow Fort for some reason. And then a guy we've only met twice decides to be like, I don't like you, Arisen. You're a meanie butt. So he has two of his guys die and become liches, and then I punch them. The dragon does the best thing in the game. And then he tells us that we are his son. Oh, no, I'm just joking. That's a completely different thing. He pretty much tells us, this is the end of the road. Go talk to the past Arisen to learn the truth. And then come meet me at where roads end, and we'll settle our fight. Meeting the past Dragon Forge was just a waste of time. He tells us that the dragon's going to offer us a choice. You can either fight the dragon, or he can take something from you, leave the land, and you'll become the next ruler. Every Dragon Forge has taken that offer, so it's up to us to break that cycle, hopefully. Let's go find out. Off we go! We do have to fight some pretty strong enemies in here, but compared to things that we've been fighting already in Bitter Black Isle, these things are a cakewalk. The Gore Chimera is what stands between us and the dragon. And he puts up a fight, but he goes down relatively easily. By that I mean I just make him hit the switches and then I run for my life. This is our journey's end. The dragon offers us a deal. Give up our beloved, which turned out to be Mercedes, which I can't stand because I did literally nothing to interact with her. I made her fill her quest and everything, but whatever, I guess. Or to fight him. Well, McFIsty doesn't know exactly what to do. So he does what he does throughout his entire life. Turn his back on everything and walk away. Well, that's the end, folks. McFisty's rise to power. He just walked away from it all and became the new Duke. But is that really how this story has to end? Rewinding time, we decide to challenge the dragon instead. I really like the final boss fight. Oh, the final boss fight of this part of the story. There's still the post game. It's very cinematic and climactic. You just gotta run. You can't really... I mean, you can defeat Gugori right here if you have enough damage output, but I'm using my fist. I don't have enough damage output. Pretty much, you just run from him. It's a running simulator. There's a bunch of scripted events. One of my favorite scenes coming up is when you're riding on his back, and you gotta do the only mandatory quick time event in the game, or else you die, which I kind of find a little silly because like you could just fall inside of him to punch him from the inside out. But that's a topic for a different story with people who like that type of stuff. There is a mandatory ballista, so I can't defeat him with only my fist. You gotta use a ballista or some sort of stagger to knock him down. Ballista was the easiest thing to do, and for all this talk and hype up, he goes down in just a handful of punches because he takes a lot of damage on his weak spot. Anyways, rip Gugori. Time to do the post game. With Gugori's dying breath, he pretty much just states how we saved this world and won its future, but what kind of future we don't know, and that we need to make our way to the heart of the world, aka the Everfall, which is the post-game final dungeon. We're going to tackle that here in a moment. We need to tackle Bitter Black Isle, because Bitter Black Isle is finally within our grasp of fully defeating. Could have done it a lot sooner, but I wanted to save it for the post game because I just thought it would be like a true test of strength. Luckily, it's a cakewalk. We're pretty strong. A bunch of the enemies go down easy peasy, and we get to the final boss of Bitter Black Isle. I'm not gonna lie, that fight could have went a lot better. I had to retry that many times. That was just the best run I got. Damien is a hard fight if you're underprepared, which I was. I didn't really have a good strategy. But the strategy after doing a couple more practice fights, because spoiler alert, you need to fight him again to get the true ending for Bitter Black Isle. Just grapple into his face, power up with Conqueror's Periaps, use a liquid Vim so you don't run out of stamina, and just wail on him until either he dies or you die, one of the two. Anyways, time for round 2 of Bitter Black Isle, and this is even worse. A little interruption with the montage, but for story progression, we're gonna go see the Duke. But I will admit that fucking Damien's second form was easier than I thought. He trades all of his melee and movement for just sheer magic damage, and I didn't realize how easy he was gonna be. I over-prepared for that fight. Anyways, Duke blames us for making a deal with the dragon, even though we killed the dragon. Turns out the Duke wasn't arisen, now he's old. We punch him and continue the montage. Alright, our final challenge of the game is to collect 20 wake stones in order to go see God, aka the Shinastal. This is a little bit of a journey, just travel around the Everfall, beat up monsters, gather shards of wake stones or full wake stones. Fun fact, if you play through the tutorial, the pawn here that we meet, right here at the entrance, is also one that assisted the Arisen in the tutorial. Cool. Anyways, we just go around the Everfall punching monsters, and we can also take on the game's super boss, if you want to call it the super boss. I'm playing offline mode, so he's not really the super boss of the game, but I give it a shot. It goes pretty good, I guess. I don't kill him, sadly, because I kind of give up, because I just found it to be boring. But I do remember back on PS3, man, I loved fighting this boss, the Ur Dragon. When you're doing the online version, he has millions of HP, and it takes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of fucking other Arisens to even make a dent in his health bar. I do like when you progress through the fight, the more damage you do to him by killing his hearts, he starts falling apart and becoming decayed and everything. The most disturbing part is his underbelly, especially when his guts start hanging out. Oh my god, it's so gruesome, especially for a game that came back out in 2012. Anyways, I give up and we're moving on to fight God. Meeting the Shinastal, pretty much, he just lore dumps at how he's in charge of the world, dictates the future, and how he isn't the first one, and when the Arisen defeats the dragon, he gets one final choice of becoming the Shinastal or dying to live out the rest of their life in peace. we decide to fight him. God is a cakewalk, but I'm gonna turn it into an epic montage, and you guys can watch the final battle. Let's do. Seriously, no, he's a cakewalk. Literally, just like 3 punches kills him. It's hilarious. And there we have it, folks. Dragon Dogma beaten with fists. The run could have went a lot better. I learned some things as I played through this, did this playthrough. You can technically beat the game with fists only if you plan a little bit ahead and maybe do a little bit more grinding before you proceed on with Mercedes across the canyon. But I didn't know that at the time, and now I do. I know a lot more things, and I'm already working on my next playthrough. Anyways, we become the next Shinastal. We have some fun with the citizens, but that turns out to be boring because all you can do is just throw people around and punch people. Anyways, we use the God's Bane blade on the God's whatever, this sword on us, and that ends the game. Yay! We win! Anyways, like I said, this was a fun run. I learned some things. I'm going to get better on my next playthrough. The next one is literally just going to be a straightforward playthrough. It's no gimmicks or anything. But I'll find something to make the playthrough really annoying. Anyways, see you guys in the next one.